Yeah, so Eunice, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
My name is Eunice Achan. I'm a social entrepreneur, I'm a filmmaker, and I specialize in writing, cinematography, and film production. I've been in the industry for about 4 to 5 years now.
Why film? Everyone, you could do like normal writing.
Yeah, the why film have two answers. One is for impact, and two, I look at film as a business. So when I came into the creative industry, I realized there was a big gap that I needed to fill.
What tickles you when you're writing those scripts?
I love comedy. That's my number one priority. I try to make my film as entertaining as possible. I'm not limited by what kind of story to tell, because I think a writer's worst nightmare is when you can't express yourself, because it's not about impressing who will watch, it's about expressing yourself. If you look at the American culture, they manage to sell the dreams that are not there. You've been in the US have slums, US have all the bad things we have here in Africa, right? Yes, but then through the culture of film, they made it so believable that, I can go to high school, fall in love, and and get married, live happily ever after, Cinderella, right? So we kind of like fell in love with that culture, and that's the power of film.
Welcome to The Author's Mind. My name is Jenny, and in today's episode, we shall be interviewing an incredible woman, a wonderful woman. She's called Eunice Achan. Welcome to the show. She's a producer, she's a writer, film writer. She's also a proud social worker. So, Eunice, could you kindly tell us more about yourself?
Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much for hosting me. I was really looking forward to this. Yes, like you said, my name is Eunice Achan. I'm a social entrepreneur, I'm a filmmaker, and I specialize in writing, cinematography, and film production. Yes, I've been in the industry for about 4 to 5 years now, and currently I'm still a student pursuing a Bachelor of Film and TV Production. But like they said, we start with passion, but if you really don't scale yourself, you won't go anywhere. So I'm glad to be here in your show.
Thank you so much for honoring our invite and coming. Yeah, so Eunice, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself besides the writing? I know this is a show for writers and, young people. I want you to be able to touch someone out there to see where they could be
Wow.
if they started today,
Wow.
So could you tell us, apart from writing, what else do you do that you love?
Oh, that's actually a topic I'm very passionate about, talking about myself. I'm a social entrepreneur, and the word comes from social impact. Yes, I'm a person who is driven by purpose. Yes, I live a life of purpose, and I always believe that life is all about knowing who you are and owning it. And I believe I'm living my best because my life as a social worker is who I am, and it has impacted what I have become in this industry. So I am thriving in every industry that I work with, but I am driven by social impact. So I love young people. I love youth. And I'm a mentor. I mentor youth in entrepreneurship and leadership skills, both soft and hard. And I always tell youth one thing is that get out of your comfort zone, because opportunities that you think is not there, it's always there right under your nose. But it takes you to get out of that comfort zone and do something about yourself, right? So I love young people. I love using innovation, because as a social entrepreneur, or as I term it, as a social worker, you need to be able to innovatively solve problems that affects people in your community. And for a couple of years, over 7 years, I've worked with different industries. I've been in agriculture, I've been in innovation and technology. Now I'm in film. Yes, I'm in education, and I'm very passionate about young people, children, youth, because I believe that collectively we can change something about our community, because it begins with you, right? Begins with you and me. You know exactly what affects the people in your community, but how do you solve that problem? And to me, every problem is a business, by the way. Wow. Yes, every problem is a business. That's why I call myself a social entrepreneur, because every enterprise that I run is a social enterprise. It's addressing a critical problem that is affecting the people in my society. Even in my storytelling, I am actually telling a story that will change the life of my protagonist, who is the what? Who is the owner of the story. So you ask about my life as a person outside the creative industry. That is who I am. I'm basically a social worker who is very passionate about young people, and I will do anything to make sure youth become innovative, creative thinkers. They start making impact in the community. They become credible to themselves, because why need a job if you can create one for yourself?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm literally inspired by just listening to you tell us about your life outside writing.
Yeah.
When I found that you're a film writer, I was so excited. You needed to come to this show and speak to our viewers.
Wow.
We are really so excited that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
So you said you do film writing. What inspired you to become a film writer? Like, why film? Everyone, you could do like normal writing.
Yeah, like why film?
So why film?
Yeah, that's like the big question, by the way. Why film? Why agriculture?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, why get married? Right?
Yeah.
Why? So
we need to know.
The why film, I have two answers. One is for impact, and two, I look at film as a business. Yeah. So when I came into the creative industry, I realized there was a big gap that I needed to fill. Yes. And that big gap is actually driven by my passion for social service. Because I felt like writers or storytellers are actually moving away from impact part of the story world. There's so many opportunities that is untapped in our industry, in our country, in our nation, in Africa and beyond, right? And I always felt like a storyteller should first look from within before you start creating the world which does not exist. Yes. So first of all, I was driven by that, because I knew if I am to write a story and turn it into a screenplay, it's going to change someone's life. Yes. And I wanted to be that change I want to see in the world. Yeah, we grew up in front of the screen. We have watched Nigerian movies, we have watched Hollywood films. And if you look at the American culture, they manage to sell the dreams that are not there. You've been in the US. US have slums. US have all the bad things we have here in Africa, right? Yes. But then through the culture of film, they made it so believable that, I can go to high school, fall in love, and and get married, live happily ever after, Cinderella, right?
Yes.
So we kind of like fell in love with that culture. And that's the power of film. Yes. I've always seen film as a powerful tool for impact and advocacy. I've seen it as a powerful tool for archiving culture, because that's where we are getting lost. Yeah,
we are.
We are getting lost in culture. We actually, there are things about our culture that we are not incorporating it into films. And if we don't actually think about that element, we are going to lose. Yeah, we are going to end up losing the culture along the way, because film has a digital footprint, and we are in the digital economy. In the next generation, people are not going to read books. People now are listening to books. I don't read books.
Audiobooks.
Yeah, I do audiobooks. I listen, from 5 a.m. to 6:30. I'm listening to a book. I'm not reading anymore. So you see, the world is going up there, and I see film as a very powerful tool for archiving our culture. But also, I should archive culture as I'm making money, right?
Yeah,
so the biggest thing is film is a business, and I've seen a very big potential. And trust me, I'm gonna hit it like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like I need to start film writing so I get some money.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's amazing how you speak of film writing. You're so passionate about it. This is so beautiful. Now, me, I don't know too much about film, but I'd like to understand what's the difference between like the normal writing and film writing. Could you elaborate to our listeners? I am sure there's someone who's also wondering.
Yes.
Yes.
My mentor once told me that anyone can be a storyteller. Anyone can write a story, but not everyone can write for screenplay.
Wow.
So I think what you're asking is the difference between, because the writers, they're different kind of writers. We have authors, book authors, we have people who even write poems, So the difference between that and film, what makes them the same is that they're all telling story. But screenwriting is not about telling story. It's about showing the story.
Oh.
Yes, it's about showing the emotion, the feeling, the environment. If you have watched your favorite Hollywood films, I would say that because there are many, there's so many you have seen, because I know they're the one that uses standard screenplay. Yes, most of our films, they don't have super standard, although right now they're there, but probably the former films you have watched, like the Nigerian film, my favorite used to be Wall Apart. There was Ido and some other prince, the village and the city prince. Yes, or Guardian Angel. You might find that they used a story to tell a movie, right? But if you have watched a Hollywood film, that favorite movie, maybe The God Must Be Crazy or something, every single element you see in that movie, whether it's the sound you're hearing, whether it is the footstep, whether it is the way that people turn and they look, it was written by a screenplayer. That's the difference between writing for screen, and a difference between writing for, other domains, right?
Yes.
So when you're writing a movie, I am describing the emotion, the environment where the movie is happening. How is it happening? It's me describing like this room. You hear the kind of background?
Yeah.
It's a thunder sound. Then the rain, right? Then we hear a footstep. Right? So you're describing everything as you want it to be seen on screen. So for most people who don't know much about screenwriting, they actually think what they're watching is a story, which is what they should actually think. Yes? They should not think like, this writer did not write well. They should actually see a world and believe it and fall in love with that world. But the writer creatively built that world. Everything you're seeing, every movement, every sound, everything, whatever is in that, on that frame or on your screen, is written by a screenwriter.
I actually used to think, okay, like normal people, I used to think you just write a book as a writer and you've done your part. But now I'm shocked you guys actually write everything we see, the noise.
Yeah. We write from, it's motion pictures. It's called motion. Yes. Wow. So you have to write. Show. Actually, the principle of a writer is to show. Show. Do not tell. Yes? We don't want to hear. We don't want to see you describing, now Juliet moved from here and her husband left her. She cried. The husband. You get. Now you're telling us a story. Even when they're adding sound or the song in a movie, the song should not be singing the movie or the story.
Nigerian movies.
Thank you. I love Nigerian films, especially the one on Netflix right now. But then you find those who are made for different markets, they're singing the story. Okay, they will suffer. This life will give you chaos.
Those are Nigerian movies. Actually, half of them are like that.
Yes. So you sort of like, even if I go to the kitchen, cook food, I come back, I'll know what happened within the,
True.
the time I was away.
True.
But screenwriting is more of showing than telling. So when you're showing someone is drawn into the character world. The character are so believable that you can see when you're at a theater. I go to theater every Monday. I want to feel the moment, like the audience reaction. Someone is crying when the actors are crying. Someone is saying wow when the world is wow. Someone is laughing when it is funny, because that's what writers do. That's the work of a writer. It's not the work of a director or the producer. The writer is supposed to create the emotion. How should the audience feel when they watch this scene? Yes? Should they cry? Should they laugh? Should they get confused? Even when you get confused watching your favorite movie, it's the writer who created the confusion. It's not you. But we create it. We write, when you're writing, you write with the audience in mind. You assume someone else is watching what you're writing. So in most cases, when you're writing, it's spiritual.
Oh.
It gets into you.
Yeah.
You take it personal. You become whoever you're writing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you have to embody that character
you have
extremely well, so
Thank
that
you.
the other person can see it.
You have to embody it. You have to research the character so thoroughly that there's no room for mistake. People just have to believe whether they like it or not. They have to believe whether it's an adventure or whatever. You have to believe there's a robot world created, between the earth and whatever planet out there. You just have to believe whatever the writer created, and that's the success of a writer.
Wow.
When audience react to your film.
So it looks like film writing is a bit more hectic than actually normal writing. But I guess it has more money.
Of course, if you monetize your business, why not?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm totally going into it. We need that money.
I don't mind mentoring you for free.
Oh, thank you. So,
Yes.
All in film, what genre do you like writing? Because I also believe there are some genres in film, right?
Yes.
What genre do you see yourself going for?
Oof.
What tickles you when you're writing those scripts and you're like, yeah, I'm in this. What is that?
I love comedy.
genre?
I love comedy. That's my number one priority. I try to make my film as entertaining as possible, because for me, my storytelling technique is to entertain and educate. So whether I'm teaching you bad manners, it should entertain. That's the core. Whenever I'm writing, unless I'm working on someone else's story, but if it's a story that is close to my heart, I have two things in mind. Is it educating the audience? Is it entertaining? So I sort of love comedy. Now, don't confuse comedy. It's not the comedy of Pablo and Salvador you go to National Theatre to watch,
Yes.
Comedy for film is different. It's different. It's just as simple as having an hilarious character who doesn't need to shout. Maybe it's their ways. They're fat, and each time they're walking, they tremble. Maybe each time the woman they likes approach them, they get messed up, and whatever they're holding,
Yes,
let's say they're eating ice cream, and then before you know it, ice cream like pop. Right? It's funny because the comedy we write is not verbal. It's not. It's like we call it non-verbal communication techniques in writing. Yes, you make the comedy, the character part of the comedy, the way they look. It's already funny. The way they conduct themselves is already funny. So you embody that comedic element into a character. They don't need to say it. Wow. It's just how they behave. That's funny enough for someone to say, hey, this person, I've ever been to a cinema and there's that one character who is not even the star of the movie. And at the end of the movie, everyone is laughing and they love the other character. Well, probably appeared for only a few minutes.
Yeah, because of the funny.
Yes. I
bring.
love incorporating that in my writing. Comedy is always number one. And then I love action. Oh. So whether I'm doing drama, it's either comedic drama or action drama.
Oh.
Yes.
That explains a lot, because in your script, there's a script she's currently working on called Eunice Achan, and I read a bit of it. It's quite intriguing. I could not get my eyes off it. She brings out the humorous. There's some characters in there that you just want to continue to see,
Yes.
And so now I'm really getting your point about you bringing in the humor in your character.
Yeah, it's, okay, now I like creating unconventional stories, yeah? We all go to hospitals, we all know doctors are very serious people. They're in suits, they're very professional, right? That's how we know doctors. You don't find a doctor walking half naked on street. They always highly conduct themselves because that's how they are. I would say maybe the society I've put them to be, but in real life they're human. That's where the naughty surgeons, I say the story is naughty. Naughty, you already know. It should be naughty.
I would want to be a doctor unlike that,
Funny,
because most doctors, you go to their offices, are serious.
Yeah, and it came with a lot of research because I had to talk to many doctors about it. Oh. And what happened? Have you ever asked yourself what happened when the doctors, you have 16 doctors in the same hospital and there are no patients? What kind of conversation do they have? Don't you think they gossip? Don't you think they fight? they're human. And that's the kind of story I want to tell. In case, if I'm diving into comedy part of it, I really want it to be so humorous for you to see people as human. These things of doctors in the movie putting, having the white coat, they're very serious, they're now explaining, now you need, you have these and you have that, you have how many days to live, you need to do this. I don't want to bring that. I want to bring the humorous part of people. We're human. Sometimes you just have to be normal and enjoy life and be happy. And that's it.
I realized you like reality, stuff, because some of the work I've seen, you're doing more reality than fiction. Most writers are fictional writers. You look like someone. Your work is more of reality writing. What is inspiring you to be? Because most people want to do fiction. Why are you going that route of I am a reality? I want it to look so realistic. I want it to be real from someone's story. Why are you going that route?
Now let's get back to values. Yeah. Yes, I have what is called personal values. Yes, and I'm so ethical about it. Yes. And there are things that I can never do because it will be against my values, right? Yes. I'm a Christian, but doesn't mean I'm gonna preach Jesus everywhere in my movies, right? But also, it gets back to the element of what drives me. There are things I stand for. So I told you I am an impact-driven woman. Yes. So there are two kind of films that I specialize in. Yes. I like nonfiction documentary films. These are characters who are real. They exist. They're there. They're known. Right? So I like tapping into opportunities that are untapped. Like, for example, my latest project, it's called The Silent Question. I discovered a very passionate, tech-savvy girl from a school, primary 7 student in the middle of a ghetto, and she's so creative. Oh. She's a tech savvy. You wonder how can a 12-year-old understand coding? Like, that's a messed up industry. Like, I really can't figure it myself. So she's into IT. She loves it, and she wants to use it, technology, to change something big in the society. And when I discovered her, I wanted to tell her story because you know what? She doesn't have the capacity to do what she wants to do.
Yes.
Yes, she needs to be empowered.
So
she needs to voice. Her voice needs to be heard. Someone needs to come out and launch an impact campaign for her to be able to put up that application the young girl is working on. Someone needs to tell a story so that children who are in her world, but maybe, they have limiting belief that, we are poor, we are here, we are there. They will get inspired, So those are the kind of non-fictional stories I love working on, but they're documentary. Okay? I don't like looking at husband and wives fighting in their homes and then I incorporate it in a feature movie. Yeah. However, in feature films, and in feature films or in films, I would actually I like doing drama actions and comedy, those 3 things. Actually, either action drama or comedic drama, but those ones I go fictional. Even when I'm going fictional, I'm staying true to my identity. Yes, I always bring out culture as it is. Yes, I always trying to make my characters so humorous. I always try to be authentic, an authentic African storyteller. Yes. Because I cannot tell a story about European culture so better than them. And I don't believe anyone can come and tell our story better than us. No. We are Ugandans. We have how many tribes?
Yeah, many.
Ooh, yes. That's already that's wealth.
Yes.
That's how rich we are in terms of storytelling. So if my story is within Buganda Kingdom, I'm going to be so authentically, they say, I'm not a Muganda, but they say Muganda, Baganda, I'll be so authentically them. Yes. So I'm driven by that. I want to, as much as I want to entertain and I want to make money, I want to stay true to the impact. Yes. Like you ask, non-fictional story, I dive into documentary, like the story of this young girl, which I'm going to produce this year, by the way. It's so inspiring. I love that girl. And if I have a daughter, please, may she be her. But she's so incredible. The same thing happened with the current project I did with a Kenyan producer. It's always the same thing. When it comes to non-fictions, I want to change the life of a protagonist. I target those people who are semi-empowered, people who are looking for access. And then I get them, and then I tell their story, and then I dive into the impact campaign, and then I raise awareness, I raise funding if it's required, and they make their dream come true. And that is my goal, and that's what makes me happy, to see others succeed while I'm also succeeding.
So in short, you're the voice for the voiceless.
Okay, that's another way of calling it.
Yeah, but is that the reason as to why you've chosen the line of film instead of normal writing? Because most normal writers are fictional writers. So is that why you've chosen film? Because film can bring someone's story even better. More realistic.
Yes.
Is that why you chose it?
Yes, actually, when I was younger, I thought I would write comic books. Actually, I thought I would write comic books and maybe become a journalist or something. But I realized the power of film, the power of motion pictures, the power of what we see. The world believe what they see, right?
Yeah.
And that's what film did to me. So I have a couple of comic books I've written, and I'm going to turn them into audiobooks.
Wow.
Yeah. So someday I'm going to work with great animators. They will animate those characters, and I'm going to tell those stories. I'm still doing it through audiovisual medium, right? Yeah. People will see, people will listen, people will love it. So film is broad and film is big, and I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe you're. Wow, that is so inspiring. I really feel like I should do this also. You need to teach me.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I believe you've written many projects, and you've even gotten some into film, which has been the one that has really caught your eye, that you are really proud of, and you are like, yeah, that one is my baby.
Yeah, I've worked on a couple of projects, not quite many. Yes, I've worked on a couple of projects, and my best baby is actually not out.
Oh, okay. I
yes.
like that.
Yeah, my best baby is actually not out because most of the projects I worked on, they were produced by the producers. They're the one that gave me the story to write. So, but something that I'm very crazy about is my last project.
Okay.
It was so fictional, and so unbelievably, the story has a different world. But I had fun having to incorporate Ugandan culture into it and give it a life and human everything. And I believe when it comes out, because spoilers alert, we have that in film business. So I don't want to talk much about it because I have an NDA.
Okay,
with the production company.
Understand.
But that has been my best movie, because I felt like, I finally did something I always wanted to do as a writer. I'm not limited by what kind of story to tell, because I think a writer's worst nightmare is when you can't express
yourself,
because it's not about impressing who will watch, it's about expressing yourself. So if a producer, for example, gives me like, okay, Eunice, I want, this is the story. They give you a very big story, because story is the king. So a very big story that should be told in a budget of 100 million. And then they tell you, I'm going to shoot this with 20 M. Now you have to write for 20 million, yeah? A story that should have the entire Chanja, Kampala, Uganda in it will only have a few houses and streets to film in. And that kind of thing like killed authenticity. I like adventure.
Adventure is nice.
Yes.
Nice.
I like to explore new things. I like actors actors who are going to be playing the characters in the film to enjoy something they have not seen before. Yeah, we have done all the stories, the prince, the princess, the kingdom, the house, outside the house, the maid fighting with the wife, the husband cheating, the woman cheating. We have done it all. Every story has been told. But how different we tell it is what matters.
Wow.
And we need to stay true to my culture. I always say that. Authenticity is everything. And my favorite story is this one. You will watch. I hope someday you'll host me back in your show when it is out, because
yes, we shall definitely host you again. Yes.
because when that happened, you're going to be like, no wonder you say it so. But I've done projects. I've done As a Dream short film. I've done Teens in Hell. This is also, I'm passionate about children, like I said, young people. Yes, Teens in Health is also about young people, teenagers, they're lacking access to sexual reproductive health, education, and everything.
Yes.
Yes, I've done Mama Wange. In English, you say my mother,
Yes.
right? I've written that movie. It's also in post-production. I've done quite numbers of Ugandan series, like couple of episodes. I've done radio dramas.
Oh, radio dramas.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I did a radio drama recently with Sauti Media Plus. It's called Awakening. Wake Up. It actually is a story for young people. Story about young people for young people. So you see how my work aligned with my purpose.
Yes,
Stories that are close to my
does.
heart, and it's a story about young people living with HIV. And it's not about like, I have HIV, I'm going to die. No, it's about telling, if you have HIV, it doesn't mean it's going to end there.
Yeah.
Actually, your life is just getting started.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
beautiful. And it's comedy. So you can imagine.
Wow.
And that's the beautiful thing about that radio drama. I enjoyed it. I made it educative. And it's funny. So people loved and enjoyed the character that was in there.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. This is really so inspiring. I don't know, but if you are a young writer, someone who wants to, start writing, this is a field you could, you could check out, because first of all, the money is good, but besides the money, it gives you room to be yourself,
Yeah.
to express yourself, to become the best version of yourself, just like this amazing lady here with us today. Yeah, so what advice would you give that young person I'm speaking to?
Incredible. Get out. That's the first thing I'll tell every young person. Get out and walk, and you don't know where you're going. Yeah. Try that therapy. Just wherever you are, get out of the house, walk. Don't count for how many minutes or hours you have walked. And then when you get there and it's only you and the environment you don't know, reflect on what you want to be.
Wow.
Because I believe that it all begins with self-discovery. Do you know who you are? Because who you are is going to shape who you will become. Yes? And that's just the identity you have to discover. So when you're in a place that is less noisy, that you don't have people telling you what is wrong and what is right, that's where you see yourself. Yes? Because I believe for every young person, you must have a goal. You must have a goal, and this goal, keep it in front of you. Write it down. I always, as much as I'm a writer, I do a lot of journal. I journal myself a lot. Every minute of my day is journal. I'm journaling it down. So write your goals down and stay true to it. I will tell you this, there's a lot of noise. Noise is not the cars and the things that pass around you. Noise is that are those relatives and those friends and the community and the society telling you cannot do this, you cannot do that, that the path you're taking is wrong. It begins with you as a young person. What are you passionate about? What is that? I recently asked one of my mentees, I was like, if right now I could give you the money you need, what is that one problem you will solve in the world with that money? And she could not answer that. Do you know why? Because there was so much noise in her head. And later on when she came, I said, hey, madam, when you asked me that, I was thinking in my village, people are very poor. We lack this, we lack that. I was like, but there must be one thing that drives you. Mine is social impact, right? What is yours as a young person? You need to have an identity. Discover who you are.
Yes.
And when you do, get out of your comfort zone and educate yourself. There are so many skills out there for you to acquire. I gain 4 new skills every year. This year I'm actually doing I'm doing housekeeping because when I'm at a hotel, I admire the way they dress their beds, and however much I try to do it in my own bed, I don't know how to. It never comes out so neat. So I decided to enroll for what? Housekeeping and hotel management, simply because I want that skill.
Wow.
Yes, but what are you doing? Because trust me, education is one thing. The skills will get you the job, right?
Yeah.
But guess what is going to get you promoted, or what is going to get you to where you want to be? It's the mindset. One thing you need to do is change your mindset, change the way you think. Reframe. I call it always reframe your we call it unlimiting belief. right? Sorry, limiting belief. Limiting belief are the things you say, I can't do it. I can't try this. My mother tried and she failed, you know? In our family, women don't get married. In our family, you know, no one goes to university. You know, I can't write because I don't know anyone in the movie industry. But look within you. Even the person who have never, someone who has never been employed, but there's something you have achieved in life. There's always something. Start by appreciating that one thing. Instead of saying, you know what, I cannot start that NGO I always want to. But when I look at it this way, like, I was able to stay at campus for 5 years despite having financial constraint from home. My parents were able to raise money and they paid me and I studied and I graduated. Like, can I not really start that? You understand? Now your mindset is different. Instead of saying, I can't, I don't have money. Because most young people nowadays, they think money is everything. By the way, in business, money is the last thing you need.
True.
You need to build your network. You need to have a mentor over your life. God, I always talk about this thing. Never, ever, ever walk a journey alone. Get mentors. Stop having friends who only go out for Rolex and chips and chicken and dancing and clubbing. Have people you look up to. I am very isolative. Like, people always think I don't associate with people. But because the people I look up to, they come from a different society. If I want to meet them, I have to be in a corporate way, go to a corporate event, and I meet them there. But build strategic partnership, strategic relationship, strategic friendship, so that you can grow as a young person. So building network is number one. Getting a mentor over your life is number two. Please, social capital is everything. Your network is your net worth.
Yes.
So don't look at money as your limitation to what? To achieving a goal. You need more than that. But skill yourself, soft or hard. I've told people several times, if you go online right now, there are free opportunities, free course that you could do. Leadership, entrepreneurship, everything is there. So don't limit yourself. Don't go on TikTok. Use that data to educate yourself.
True.
And on film, just a minute, as a writer, it's not impossible. Yeah, I started and I had no idea how to start.
Yes.
But lucky for you right now, you have access to technology. It can teach you how to write a script in one what? In one day. What you need is your passion, your talent, and what? And now you have to gain skills for yourself as a writer. Start with you and then look for another writer. Look for me. You can find me online anywhere. Look for any other writer who has written movies before. Meet them. Don't fear to meet people. I love meeting people. And when I meet with them, I act like I've known them all my life. Yes, because there's something I need from them.
Yeah, we meet people for a reason.
Yes. So meet people. Talk to them. Ask them. Be desperate for information. Yes, but also don't give too much.
True.
Yeah.
That's a wisdom we need to have.
Don't give too much.
Yes.
But be open to learning and scale yourself as much as possible. This is like, film is not just, most people think actually film is different from business. Film is business. Like you run any business.
It is.
Just that most of the business in film is service-based. We call it service-based business. They are product-based business, but they all run under the same what? The same model.
Yes.
The same way you run other business is the same way you run your film. It's the same way you're going to brand yourself as a writer. It's the same way you're going to sell your what? Yourself. And guess what? I started and I wrote so many free projects before I earned my first dollar as a writer. So finding someone who say, me, I know how to write. If you don't pay me, I will not work. I'm not saying work for free, but working with that big company or volunteering in that big company on a film project could open doors for you.
Yes.
To do something big.
Yeah. So, I believe how long have you been in this industry? Film industry?
5 years now.
5 years.
Yes.
Have you faced any challenges, like from the time you began up to now? You could let us know about that.
Yeah, challenges are there, just like anywhere. Yeah. Yes. The challenge number one is your mindset. Yeah, you come into the industry with I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be rich. But guess what? What sells you is your work.
It does.
Yes. In creative industry, we say you are as good as your last project.
Yeah.
So if you do good good film this year, next year you do trash, people will not remember the good one. They'll remember the trash you have written, right?
Yeah.
So when I first joined, I had challenges with, I come from a background whereby everything is so formal. Yeah, I was empowered. I wouldn't say too much, but I was semi-empowered. And I understand the aspects of business and the principle as well. So there was so much, how would I call it, unprofessionalism. It's like everyone just do things because they think it's the right way to do it. And many people don't want to be educated. So that such kind of environment, by the way, can either make you or destroy you. How do you do it? When it makes you, because when you go to a place and you realize actually you have more knowledge, yeah, you can decide that I can teach them. I can teach them how to do it. Or you can decide to just stay like a fool. We have fools, people. Okay, I'm not being stigmatizing anyone. No, I'm not being stereotyping any personality. But there are people who are phlegmatic.
Yes.
Phlegmatic. If fire starts in this room right now, a small fire, instead of getting the extinguisher and putting it off, they'll carry that back and they'll walk away, assuming the fire will turn off by itself, right? So if you run away from problem, you're actually creating room for more problem.
True.
Because you're staying quiet, then you'll be exploited. Because I've been in that room where I felt exploited. I felt like my voice were not heard. I felt like people felt like I had very strong personality. And at the end of the day, I almost felt like I had problems with me, right? And then I told you, mentorship is one thing. I had mentors. Yeah. So when I spoke to my mentor told me, go back and study. Yeah? Go and study this film thing you're passionate about. Yes. So I went back and I grabbed opportunity with the Icon Fellowship Program. I grabbed opportunity with UCC. They had training programs with Cine Art Academy. These are all free opportunities. They're out there. You just have to look. I went and I skilled myself before I went back to film school. And when I came back, I realized the industry is still perceiving me the same way they perceived me a year ago. Then I was like, no, the problem is here, not me.
Yes.
Yes, I know what I want. They don't, right? So the challenges always come within that professional aspects. You have to know what you want. Yes, and then also we have problem with network. Yeah, because right, when you come to the industry, just to know, most producers are also writers. So so it's very hard for you to get the jobs. You just have to be strategic and make strategic partnership with a specific filmmaker or filmmakers in general. And then when you made that and they get to understand that you actually can do it better than them, and then you are able now to get gigs to work for other people. Yes. So it's quite challenging, because when at the time I came to the industry, everyone were writers. And I felt like, okay, if you're a writer, producer, director, cinematographer, you're everything, you're even acting your own movie you've written, where do I belong?
True.
And I sort of even started acting. You see what environment create?
Yes.
I then started acting. And I felt like, okay, now I'm acting, what will happen? And I was like, no, you're actually doing the same thing they're all doing, and that's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
So know who you are, what you want in the industry, and you will navigate the challenges, because the challenges is not going to go away, unfortunately.
You'll stay there until you...
And idle mind is a devil's workshop, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I always believe. I read Genesis chapter 1 and 2. There are two things that happens there. Chapter 1, God was creative. Okay? He was creative. He saw this, it was beautiful. He saw that, it was beautiful. And then in chapter 2, he became innovative. And he created man, and he gave us the power and dominion and authority, and said, go and do this. Take care of everything. So it simply means we are the version of God. We have the creativity, we have the innovation that is in us. And it's upon you to actually utilize that. I asked someone in one of the mentees that I am working with, but in another industry, which is agriculture. And I was like, he needed money to start. I told him, what do you have? And he told me, I don't have anything, but I have a great business idea. I was like, okay. I looked at the proposal, it was so amazing and appealing, and I was like, okay, So now you have this idea. What do you have? Because when I was looking at that idea, I'm seeing land, which is free,
Yes.
right? I'm seeing water, which is free. So that's where you begin. Creativity starts with you. And as the the challenges in this industry is not going to go away. But if you deal with one at a time, you're actually eliminating it innovatively. And that's what I did. I went back to school. I came back from school, and I'm still in school, but I still came back, and I started training others. Yes, I started training young filmmakers, people, emerging filmmakers who are joining the industry, because I don't want them to go back and start the way I did. I want them to monetize their passion.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is how you solve the problem. And that's how you navigate challenges. I don't like talking more about the problems, but I like talking more about how you can solve these problems. Yeah, because they're there and they're there to stay.
The truth is, everywhere you go, there are problems. You just need to find a way to navigate. Those problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sadly, we've come to the end of this amazing podcast. Thank you so much for honoring our invite. Thank you so much for coming. We really loved you on the show. You were amazing. And to our viewers, in case you have a comment or you have a story to tell us, or you also need some form of inspiration, could let us know. We're going to put all her details in the box below. You could check out her account, get in touch with her in case you're interested in film, writing, and make some money out of it. And in case you love the show, please don't hesitate, comment and tell us, I loved the show. We would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, follow. And my name is Jenny. This is The Author's Mind.